Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan, and this podcast is all things confidence, clarity, community, leadership, communication. It is life. We are talking about the things that make us tick. Leadership and communication should be, in my opinion, taught to everyone, yet so many of us never receive any training on how to be a confident communicator or a high road leader, as John Maxwell calls leaders that focus on servant, leading other people, truly serving them. In this podcast, we have guests on that talk about menopause and amino acids and their life's journey, overcoming trauma. And we have specialists on leadership, on communication. This podcast, when you listen in, you tune in, and you put into practice the things that you're learning, will help you become the most amazing, best possible version of yourself. In a lot of my conversations lately, I have had a lot of different conversing where we're talking about why don't people have those hard conversations? Why do they always avoid the hard conversations? Not meaning that everyone else doesn't have them and the person I'm talking to and I do have them all the time. They're hard for everyone. For the best communicator in the world, discussing and coming together with those hard topics is a challenge. I've heard it said that success, everything amazing is on the other side of this 10-second conversation that nobody wants to have. The hard conversations are hard. They're called hard conversations because they're difficult. And a lot of times I think that we avoid the hard conversations because we think that we have to come to some kind of an agreement. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. You might come to an agreement, but you might not. You might go into it with a willingness to open up, knowing that there won't be an agreement, but both sides or all sides are heard and they are understood. But there are things that we need to keep in mind as we go into hard conversations because it is obviously a different atmosphere, a different feel than when we're going into a conversation with someone where we're talking about something that we both agree on or that we have no hard feelings between us. The hard conversations involve really opening up, but the word communication has a root word of communion, which means to be together sharing intimate thoughts. It means we are communing with each other. So we don't have to come to that agreement. We just need to be willing to learn from each other and however many are in the group. So some basic rules for having those conversations. One is get yourself in the room, get in front of the person, ask them if they are willing to have a conversation. You could word it something like, I'm not sure if this is something you would be interested in, but I thought we should discuss fill in the blank so that we can bridge the gap between us. Even if we don't agree, I would love to hear what you have to say on this topic. Give them the option to meet with you or not. So you need to get in front of the person and then keep your gloves on. Meaning, have you ever been to a hockey game where the players, the gloves come off and that maybe this is outdated information, but years ago, like 3 or 4 decades ago, when I would go to hockey games, the people I would with would get all excited when the players dropped their gloves because that meant they were going to come each other and blood was going to fly and there was going to be a fight on the ice. I don't know exactly where the phrase keep the gloves on comes from, but that's what I picture. They're going to go at it. The gloves are off and they're going to go at it. Keep your gloves on. You're not there to fight. You're there to listen. You're there to respect the other person. You're there to value the other person, even if you don't agree with them. Think through the things that you're going to say and stick to the facts. Don't exaggerate it. We don't need the word always in there. You always do this. No one always does anything. Think it through and stick only with the facts. If you're talking about something, maybe something that someone said to you that was offensive to you, you said this this one time, and I just really wanted to talk about what you meant by that because I've been carrying it around. Not you always say this to me. That will immediately put someone on the defensive. So stick to the facts. Think it through. Let it be a dialogue, not a monologue. It's not you spitting things out at them, but it's you conversing with the other person or the other people. Stay calm. Stay calm. These are fall allergies coming through, and my throat gets so dry no matter how much water I drink. Stay calm in the conversation. It may begin to escalate. You have the choice to keep it calm. It only takes one person in a group of people to decide to stay calm to help the entire group or the other person to also calm down. When one person yells and another person yells back, it just explodes into a cacophony of misunderstandings, and we don't need that. We're already there because there is a hard conversation to have. Show genuine interest in the other person or the other people. So put away your distractions. I don't know where my phone is. So don't be talking to someone and constantly recording on your phone at the same time or texting while you're talking to them. In fact, it shouldn't even be lighting up or dinging at all. Just put it aside, put away distractions, all distractions, not just your phone. Repeat words or phrases back to them so that you understand what they're saying. Respect their emotions and ask questions. And if someone says something and instead of saying, no, I didn't mean it that way, or you shouldn't feel that way, instead say, I hadn't thought about it that way, but I'd like to explore that with you. You could say, I believe this is what I heard you say. Is this what you're saying? And if it's not, could you reword it to help me understand more? These difficult conversations oftentimes can't be avoided with a good outcome. Usually when we avoid a difficult conversation and things keep getting shoved under the rug, arguments become more frequent and more explosive. We see this in relationships and families all the time. When the real issue at hand is never dealt with, there are explosions left and right, emotional explosions. If we don't have these difficult conversations, the hard stuff just keeps growing and no one gets through it unscathed. A lot of times families are fractured, friendships are fractured because there's no communication, there's no communion going on because we're avoiding the hard stuff and only talking about the fluffy stuff. These hard conversations must happen, need to happen. To become a great communicator, it means being willing to have the hard conversations and listening to the other person. It means being able to move forward without coming to an agreement, but still valuing and loving the other person or the other people. The difficult conversations are important. Don't avoid them. Embrace them. I wish I could remember the actual quote, but it is something along the lines of everything you want, all that success is right on the other side of a 10-minute conversation. A difficult conversation that nobody wants to have. But you've got strategies now. Aim for the dialogue. Put distractions away. Listen, stay calm. Stick to the facts. Think it through. You know how to go in and have those conversations. So I really encourage you to get out there and do the hard conversations. You're worth it. The people you love are worth it. Your own self-improvement is worth it. Get out there and grow. I'm CarrieVee. I can't wait to talk to you again. I think you're amazing, just as you are.